up as we continue from New Orleans, the site of Sunday's Super Bowl 59, the 11th Super Bowl to be played here in New Orleans, tying Miami for the most of any host site, and a man who played in 3 of these games and is one of the greatest players in the history of pro football is with us, the great Emmitt Smith, who holds the record for most career rushing yards, breaking the mark held by the great Walter Payton. Emmitt also has the most career rushing touchdowns of all time. He was the MVP of this Super Bowl game in 1993, one of 13 running backs to win that award. He ran for over 1,400 yards that season. He was named All-Pro 4 times. A member of those dominant Cowboy teams of the 90s. Emmitt won 3 Super Bowls. Again, the Super Bowl MVP in 93, ran for over 100 yards in 2 of those Super Bowl wins. The great Emmitt Smith, yes.
Did you see there? No horse collar tackles back in the day. It just runs through them. Just ran through the
great Emmitt Smith is here, everybody. And he is on behalf.
It was a different game then.
The different game.
It was a different game then.
Bring it back.
The freaking grown man, baby.
And perhaps for me, the most exciting, you're here on behalf of your partner, Narcan Nasal Spray, and as a man who suffers from sinus, I am delighted to have that and to mention that as loudly and proudly as we can. Okay, so many different angles to this game that you can talk about.
Yeah.
You were part of a 2-time Super Bowl champion, back-to-back champions, and you won the 3 in the 4 years. The Chiefs are going for a 3rd in a row, which, of course, as we know, has never been done in the Super Bowl era. What can you tell us about the pressure of going for that 3rd one? You made it to the NFC Championship game, and the weight you think the Chiefs carry into this game because of it.
Well, to be honest with you, I think my experience and where the Chiefs are is completely different. And it's different because of when we went back-to-back, that offseason, we lost our head coach.
Yeah.
And we couldn't figure that out. So emotionally, our team was in disarray in terms of being emotionally fit, emotionally ready to go and compete for another three-peat, if you will. And not only that, it was a bunch of injuries that took place that year. I got hurt. Eric Williams almost lost his life that year in a car accident. It was a lot of different things that happened. With the Chiefs, everything has been contained. And I think there's a complete different focus. They have the same offensive coordinators. They have the same head coaches. And they're rolling in the same direction. So the team is combined collectively together. And so I think it's a different things. And so when you look at the Chiefs right now, they're rolling on all cylinders.
You keep your coach, you get the 3-peat done.
I think there's an opportunity for us to get the thing done 3-peat-wise. But mentally, people was like in disarray. I mean, you saw how our team was. And then we had to adjust to a new head coaching style versus the way Jimmy was. Jimmy had his arm and his everything around the team and his thumbprints over everything that we did. With Barry forced us to mature and take on the leadership role ourselves versus pointing to a guy and have him be that guy the whole time.
Now, we love comparing dynasties, y'all's dynasty, obviously, and with the Chiefs' dynasty now. Take it back to your heyday. If y'all line it up today.
Oh, we'll run right through them.
I see you! Without hesitation, baby!
With no conviction, I mean, no hesitation at all. And the reason why, if you go back to our 92 team, the second Super Bowl team, that team was so stacked and so deep.
The lines of scrimmage.
The rotation would have been completely crazy on the defensive side. They had to contend with Charles Haley, Tony Casillas, Tony Tolbert, Russell Maryland, Jimmy Jones, and
Leon
Chad
Lett.
Leon Lett. I mean, come on. They had to contend. They had to contend with too much.
Who was the offensive line?
It didn't matter.
Williams, Mark
Everything.
Stepnoski.
Tournay, Larry Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Gogan.
We got to get the Cowboys on line of scrimmage back, man. God bless them guys.
I mean, we had too much.
I love it. There was no hesitation. Didn't even breathe on it.
Like wanted to play the game today.
And plus, we was not playing touch football neither.
Preach. I love you.
Everybody gets shots.
I love you.
I mean, I grew up, first of all, I have no idea how in my life that I'm sitting here talking to Emmitt Smith because I grew up watching Emmitt Smith. So this is a very humbling moment.
I thought you was a basketball player, bro. I'm like,
it's a tough day.
I'm trying to figure this out myself. How does this work?
You're one of the greatest running backs of all time. Put into context Saquon's season.
Unbelievable. I mean, especially at a time when the game has said to the whole entire world, the running back position has been devalued.
Amen.
And now everybody wants to say there's a resurgence. There never was a resurgence. it's just a difference in mentality and a difference in approach in terms of how our offensive coordinator, how our teams see themselves.
Yep.
That brand of style of football is what I'm accustomed to.
Yeah.
You built inside out. If you built inside out, you can compete and put a lot of pressure on teams. And so with Saquon coming into Philadelphia right now, the Giants made a bad move.
Yep.
They bet on the wrong dude. And now Philadelphia is enjoying the fruit of this man's labor. And now the league want to say, okay, welcome back. We never left.
Thank you.
You just never, you chose not to utilize us in the right way. And so kudos to Saquon, man, and I'm happy for him. I wish he would have got the whole entire MVP thing. He deserved the whole entire MVP thing. He should have swept the whole entire thing. Especially when you 2,000 yards.
Look that
people
way.
don't understand what it's like.
Voter. Dude, look that way. Basketball players vote.
Think about this. And here comes some serious smoke right now. This is how difficult it is to get 2,000 yards. Y'all think you got to average 25 yards a quarter just to get 100 yards.
Yes.
And I got a defense over there that's going to gear it up to stop me, the run. That is very difficult. Very difficult to do. And Philadelphia don't throw the ball like everyone else.
Right. Yep.
And so they utilize Jalen Hurts and Saquon to set up all the RPOs and everything else. And
This has been the greatest segment I've ever been. This is my favorite of all time.
And he's the greatest running back there ever was. We would be remiss if we did not ask you about the current day Cowboys. You obviously are a
Who is
member.
that?
That's even better.
You tell us.
He came locked and loaded. I got 4 of them. I'm shooting.
What is your perspective on where the state of where that franchise is right now?
Well, I would just say this. Like I talk about the Eagles and their commitment to what they're doing with Saquon Barkley. There's a commitment there. I think the Dallas Cowboys have gotten away from the commitment to the things that made them great in the first place. When I say in the first place, when Jerry actually bought the team, there was a sense of urgency to win games. There was a sense of urgency to recoup my investment. Vision that was aligned not only from a branding standpoint, but from an operations of the football standpoint. And that commitment was led by Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones, both of them locked and loaded.
Yes.
And so for 4 years there was a whole lot of, first couple of years, a lot of turnover until we got the nucleus and everything that we wanted. And then it was like, I got to make sure my coaching staff is right and solid. So they went out and hired North Turner to come in and bring and stabilize that offense. Once that got stabilized, it was a straight mission to the Super Bowl. And once we got to the Super Bowl, that's just the way things were. And we have gotten so far away from that. We're not leading anymore. We're following now. I think we need to get back in terms of leading on the football field as well as leading on the business side of it with the buildings and the stadiums and everything else. He set up the whole National Football League with a great contract to watch the game itself. So come on back home and let's take care of our front and get things going the way.
There we go. The great Emmitt Smith.
My man.
Delight to have you here. Brought to you by Narcan Nasal Spray. Thank you so much. Super Bowls and other big events for 30 years. There is a life in this city that just does not exist literally anywhere else. It is an energy. You feel it the second you get off the plane. It just makes you feel good.
It's the people, right? The people. They're excited that we are here. They're excited that we get to celebrate not only this game, but this city. And they want folks to come back. And I think that's the culture and the fabric of any city, of any community. It's what the people are. And I think New Orleans have some of the greatest people in the world. And we're going to feed you and get you drunk.
I'm both of those right now. Let's get to it. We got the game here coming up Sunday, of course, so let's do a fired up Friday. What are we fired up to see? Domonique, start us off. What are we looking to see Sunday?
We can pretend that we care about all this other stuff more, but it's about Patrick Mahomes, man. Like, we are in the middle of the Patrick Mahomes era of football, and he's been almost perfect in postseason since he entered this league. And so I think the first thing that we're excited about is to see what rabbit Mahomes pulled out of his hat again on Sunday.
RC, what are you fired up to see on Sunday?
I mean, I'm on the same wavelength as Domonique is, and I want to show that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback we've ever seen. And I know we have these conversations, but if you win 3 in a row, you start your career the way he has the first 7 years as a starter, we've never seen anything like it, not only in football, but in sports. Patrick Mahomes has an opportunity to cement himself in a place where he will never be unseated.
That's an extraordinarily good conversation we can start having on Monday if it goes that way. Jeff, what has you fired up?
Don't commit the fatal flaw. If you're the Philadelphia Eagles, I don't care, offense, defense, special teams, if you look at the way Kansas City, they will take full advantage of any mistake. Block field goals, block punts, scooping scores, you name it. They cannot commit the fatal flaw. Play a consistent football game. Do what you do best. Low risk, high reward. Ultimately, you'll be crowned.
Jeff, do you have a similar thought for Sunday?
Well, Grady, it's all about the mistakes and the team that limits them. And in the last Super Bowl, we saw the Chiefs force this fumble. Nick Bolton returned it for a touchdown. And when we look back at that game, that may have been the decisive play that turned that game. The team that doesn't make that mistake in this game will probably come out ahead. And these are two of the teams that have played the cleanest football all year long. They have the best average starting position, and that will be a huge issue in deciding the winner of Super Bowl 59.
Eagles haven't turned it over during the entire postseason. We'll have plenty on this game as we go. But the other storylines this morning are fascinating. Last night, of course, they had the NFL honors ceremony right here in New Orleans, and there was a big surprise. Josh Allen became the first player in 21 seasons to win MVP without being named first-team All-Pro. That's where so much of the controversy has come. Lamar Jackson finished first-team All-Pro. Josh Allen finished second, but then it was Allen who won the MVP. Lamar actually won nothing last night because Saquon Barkley was named the Offensive Player of the Year. Here's how close the MVP vote was. Allen got 27 first-place votes. Lamar Jackson got 23. That's the smallest difference since 2003 when Peyton Manning and Steve McNair shared the award. So that's the topic here really this morning. And Dan Orlovsky, you are a voter and you understand it. You see it the way that it turned. There are many of us who look at this and say, how can you possibly, because people did flip the vote one guy first-team All-Pro and then the other guy MVP, but you can see a logic to it.
Yeah, because I believe they're different awards. I believe the way that we talk about the award is different. The first-team All-Pro, you can make the cases, you were the best quarterback in football. And then the MVP is the value that you brought to your football team. What did you do with what you were given, and then who did you do it against? And that's why I thought Josh Allen winning MVP was the right decision. If you just take the overall football team and you say, well, Josh Allen's Bills or Lamar Jackson's Ravens or Saquon Barkley's Eagles, what player did more with what they were given the ability to do? And Josh Allen was the guy that did that. And then also who you did it against. And Josh Allen went on the road versus, or at least one of them, the number one seeds in both conferences and beat them. And those wins and how those wins happened have to be a part of that conversation. MVP has to be about the value that you bring to your team. It was last year. It is this year.
It's coward stuff.
No,
it's cowardly.
How is it cowardly?
It's cowardly to try to split the baby. Pick who you think is the best. Like the idea that we're going to...
Why do we have two different awards, Dom?
The way that you bend yourself in pretzels in order to find a way to give a little to him, a little to them. Like you think Josh Allen had a better season. So then you also think Josh Allen is the MVP and you think Josh Allen is first-team All-Pro. To me, it seems kind of foolish to be like, but... MVP valuable means something different. Nah, man. Like, I think that Lamar Jackson's first-team All-Pro quarterback and Lamar Jackson's MVP. I'm fine with anyone thinking that Josh Allen is the answer to that question, but it seems really unusual to me and kind of weird. How many times has it happened in history where the guy who wins MVP does not also win?
Well, the last two times it happened,
All-Pro?
John Elway.
Yeah, I have it right here. Yeah.
And Steve McNair.
When they did the
Peyton Manning.
Allen is the third player to win the award and not be first-team All-Pro.
In
That's
how
exactly
many
right.
years?
John Elway and
Tom,
McNair.
then
Steve McNair was the co-MVP
Right.
when they did that. And honestly, I actually thought this is where the MVP was going this year. I thought people were so split on who should win the award and how we quantify the award that they were going to take what's the true coward's way out and just give it to both of them. And honestly, I think what they did was by voting Lamar Jackson the all-pro first-team quarterback, they made all of us believe, at least in my estimation, that they were going to do the right thing, that it wasn't going to be about narrative. It wasn't going to be about fatigue. It was going to be about the player who did the most with what he was given individually that allowed his team to rise to a standpoint where they were competitive in their field, in their division, in their conference. And I think both quarterbacks did that. I don't have a problem with Josh Allen being MVP, right? Josh Allen coming into the season, the narrative was he didn't have a ton of pieces around him. He found a way to go out and win the AFC East, get the second seed. And I do believe the argument for him is moments. right? The argument for him wasn't overall statistics. It wasn't historical gameplay. It was, okay, you play Kansas City on the 4th down, you put the football in your hands, and you go score. And the loss to the Rams, you still score 6 touchdowns, and you're the best player on the field.
Right.
And then you go beat the Detroit Lions. Those are the things that you're going to say about Josh Allen is the reason that he won it. But much like Patrick Mahomes, much like some of these great hoopers, the LeBrons, the MJs, when you start to win these awards multiple times, you're always playing against yourself and the fatigue of the voters.